Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions. Oh, I'm excited for this one. It's round 8 of the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships. We are in, well, as close to my home turf as you can geographically get on iRacing at the moment. The Adelaide Street Circuit playing host to the 8th round of this series, the GT4 and TCR race of 30 minutes coming up very shortly, and then the GT3 race of 40 minutes later on at quite a brutal and historic street circuit in Australia. Bringing it to you live here on the Pit Road Productions YouTube channel. It is myself, Reese Gardner, with Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box. My goodness, Zippy, I am excited. We finally get to race at Adelaide in this series. I'm super hyped. Can you tell?
Oh, I can definitely tell. Certainly, I've got to be honest, Reese, you actually get your home track a lot more than I do. Certainly Cadwell Park, I think I've only ever done 2 or 3 shows ever on it, and that's over several channels, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly, fair play to Reese. He's definitely had a little bit more luck. Even Bathurst he can claim, because let's be real, how many people live in Australia? He can claim Bathurst as a home track as well. But fair play to him. It's definitely good to be here for a new circuit. Indeed, a rather tasteful looking street circuit as well. But I've got to say, the points are going to be interesting as well. But before we get too excited, Reese, let's see if we have a look indeed where we've been and where we're going.
Absolutely. We started off the season in January at Sebring, and Detroit Belle Isle played host to round 2. We went over to Europe to Misano and Imola for the 3rd and 4th rounds. Long Beach was quite the spectacular one, especially in the GT3 race, where we had a caution period interrupting the race a couple of times. Daytona playing host to round 6. Road Atlanta was last week. We're here at Adelaide for round 8. We're going to be going to Miami next week and rounding off the 10th season with the 10th round at Indianapolis on March the 23rd, so mark those dates in your calendar if you want to catch further rounds of this series, or maybe even sign up and take part in the last couple of rounds. The GT4 and TCR fields have always been a little bit smaller than the GT3 fields, but I think the racing has proven to be just as entertaining. We're going to see some very interesting moves from the drivers here today, with the walls close and the bumps certainly not smooth at all.
Yeah, actually, just taking a look at this track here, Reese, I'm sure you've seen this clip. Is this the clip where I was seeing that Volvo S60 supercar literally skid it on the brakes and pass by like a cigarette paper? I wish I had that clip to hand. Certainly one of the best passes, and also my Volvo guy, so I'm a little bit biased there, but absolutely phenomenal bit of race. Now, I've just got a new enthusiasm for this track, and indeed, if I carry on, Reese is going to want to marry me. Well, yeah, maybe not that much.
You've got the right battle in mind. Scott McLaughlin versus Shane Van Gisbergen, I believe, at the Adelaide 500. A fantastic battle indeed. One of the classic Australian touring car circuits, this one. Also hosted the Formula 1 Australian Grand Prix between 1985 and 1995, but the layout we're running is a bit of a truncated version of the layout that F1 ran. You can complete a lap around here in a very short time. It's over before you know it, and you don't really get much time to rest.
Yeah, certainly not. But before we get too excited, Reese, let's take a look here at our sponsors, starting off with Carbliss. Our returning sponsor, Carbliss, offers a line of premium canned cocktails designed for drinkers who refuse to compromise on flavor or fitness goals. These ready-to-drink options featuring vodka, rum, and tequila bases for classic drinks like margaritas and mojitos are built on a simple promise: bold flavor with zero compromises. Every 12-ounce can is 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, and just 100 calories. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to get a little bit saucy, why not do it with Carbliss? But obviously, Pit Road Productions, keep YouTube happy, drink responsibly, but have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Would like to sample a bit of Carbliss myself. Nixon Power, new sponsor for this season, is headquartered in Brentwood, Tennessee, and focus exclusively on the power generation marketplace. They provide industrial, residential, and marine generators, complemented by an aftermarket team that delivers premium technical services and parts support. If you're ever without power and need it, consider checking out Nixon.
Indeed, and we have a look at our next sponsor. Certainly, this is the one that me and Reese, we almost scrap over who gets to call this one out. It's Motorsport, and it is a fast-growing brand making high-performance sim racing hardware for PC and console, VR, and flight simulation. Known for a portable, powerful, direct-drive wheelbases, modular wheels, and pedals, Moza offers a full automotive engineered ecosystem from beginner bundles to high-end setups, including durable, realistic equipment like steering wheels, digital dashes, and flight simulation gear. And ladies and gentlemen, we say it every week. Certainly, we're dropping a few hints here. If anybody would like to indeed send one of us that Moza truck wheel with the signals and stuff like that, we would definitely have to confirm that. Actually, you know what, Reese? Should we do that for our Christmas bonus this year? We'll both get ourselves Moza wheels, and then we'll do some trucking sim. That's an idea.
That is an idea. We'll see how to work that into the budget. Big thanks to Moza Racing. Second last of the sponsors here, Speed Designs, located in Phoenix, Arizona, specializes in custom helmet painting, provided unique, modern, and high-speed designs to drivers across the globe, including those in Formula One, IMSA, Pro Karting, NASCAR, and dirt track racing. Fantastic job from Speed Designs on the helmets that they've designed. Make sure to check them out if you want your lid to look good.
And indeed, if you want to see somebody who's got that lid rocking, Swallow Almeida himself rocking one of those helmets as well. So certainly we've got to give some love where due. But ladies and gentlemen, our title sponsor, and indeed the name of the series, is Podium Racing is a Nashville, Tennessee-based builder of turnkey racing and flight simulator systems. They offer premium, ready-to-use rigs that integrate high-end components such as Fanatec, Acertec, and cubic motion systems to meet the needs of serious racers and professional training environments. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a phrase in the UK. They are the bee's knees, the cat's meow, and indeed the dog's danglies, ladies and gentlemen. This is the pinnacle of sim racing equipment, and indeed the guys who are absolute masters at setting out. By all means, contact them, get your sim rig, and indeed come race with us here in the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship.
For sure. Fantastic series that is put on by CJ Conklin and the crew at Podium 1. It's been a pleasure for us to have them here on Pit Road Productions for the last couple of seasons. And with this new format of the championship where we have 2 races with 3 classes over a couple of hours, it's certainly been quite the good night of racing. Only a minute to go in the qualifying session. I think that's just enough time, Zippy, to look at the championship standings in our GT4 and TCR categories. In the GT4 championship, Doug Sorrentino is still ahead, but Maxwell Budd and Amrit Vestrala are equal on points. Those 3 at the top have been our protagonists pretty much all season, and they have quite a lot of potential to take this through to the last couple of rounds. Whoever finishes ahead between Vestrala and Budd will take second in the championship coming out of this round. Pierce Fox is also quite close on 369 points, with Tommy Polte rounding out our GT4 top 5, Zippy.
As we have a look here at the TCR, ladies and gentlemen, Harry Sierra currently in the lead by 25 points, and Michael Pacheco in second. Andrew Garov there in third. And I say that, he's only 1 point clear of Drew Martin in fourth, with Scott Laurenti telling a little bit behind there, but having a battle nonetheless. Himself and Quinn Manders just 4 points apart in fifth and sixth. And I'm going wrong, CJ Conklin as well, despite doing race control, still in the mix there. He's got 315 points, about 17 shy of Quinn Manders.
Yeah, busy man, CJ Conklin. We'll see what he can do to get a good finish here today, with the last minute or so having elapsed, and now the session is in overtime. So any driver who's on a hot lap right now can finish it. We're keeping an eye on Doug Sorrentino here, who's actually not on the provisional front row right now. He is 4th place on a 125.0, and it would appear that the other drivers are Pierce Fox, Emmett Estrella, Matthew Budd, the rest of our Maxwell Budd, the rest of our championship top 4, they are at least half a second faster than him at the moment. So Doug is looking for a lot of time on this final lap.
Yeah, definitely Piss Fox. I think that's the first time we've seen him take pole as well. Maybe Sorrentino not quite familiar here with one of the newer tracks in the iRacing service. It is indeed Adelaide. And certainly looked like a little bit of understeer to my eye there, Reese. But indeed, the big, mighty AMG GT4, he's going to bring it across the line. Are we going to see an improvement? A 125.71 to beat. Well, sorry, a 125.71 was his last one. And does not go quicker, does not beat the 125.03, about 0.2 of a second slower. Indeed, as that is the checkered flag here on qualifying. Currently, 3 cars still out on track, Quinn Manders being one of them.
Yes, Manders crossing the line there, and looks like the last lap was his current fastest. We also have Chris Scheusler and Jack Minter completing the session. Actually, Minter's already completed it. Scheusler here in the Porsche GT4 tapping the brakes through turn 8, which is going to be one of the big points of contention today. It's a super fast right-hander with absolutely no runoff, and in the GT3 race later on, I think you'll find some cars take it flat out if they're brave enough. It's quite a dangerous part of the racetrack, but through the final sector, the seconds tick down, and once it hits 0, that's going to be Chris booted off the circuit. Unfortunately, not able to complete that final lap, but it is time for the grid for the GT4 and TCR race here at Adelaide. Pierce Fox with a 1 minute 24.2 is going to start on pole position in his Porsche Cayman, with Amrit Estrella in the Mustang starting on the front row with him. Maxwell Budd and Doug Sorrentino for second and first in the championship, going third and fourth, with Tommy Polte championship top 5 and rounding out the top 5, starting alongside Sean Phillips. Joshua Travis and Jack Minter are the fourth row, with Chris Scheusler and Pete Jeji the last couple of cars to take to the grid in the GT4 class. I think we might have Jack Minter missing from that one, but the TCR field is looking pretty stable, Zippy.
Indeed, the TCR's got Scott Laurenti leading the charge with Javi Sierra in second. Actually, Scott qualified the championship leader there. Attaboy, good job there. Andrew Garrell takes third with Michael Pacheco in fourth. Can't even read that now. Jason Bush, my apologies there. He's there in fifth with CJ Conklin alongside in sixth. Quinn Manders takes seventh, and indeed Drew Martin takes eighth.
Yeah, so a pretty good field of cars here at the moment as we move on to the formation lap. And of course, it is a rolling start in both of our races tonight. And I think the drivers will be happy with that. Off a standing start, which is usually traditional at this track, it's a pretty short run into turn 1, and if you get a poor getaway from the line, you're in a lot of trouble coming through the center chicane there at turns 1, 2, and 3. It's a really fast chicane to start off the lap, very easy to cut the second apex. But there's barely any room for error with the speed that you're carrying through there. You can see just from the air how much of a concrete canyon this track is.
Yeah, definitely. It is indeed a city circuit, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly myself, I'm looking forward to seeing the racing here. Honestly, that clip there, that supercars, just thinking about how difficult supercars are to drive. I'm actually kind of relieved that these guys are in GT4s and indeed TCR cars. Definitely a lot more forgiving. The supercar probably one of the most difficult cars here actually in the sim. I don't know, actually trying to think something that would be more difficult than that car.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% in agreement with you. Supercars are the most difficult cars to drive on the service for my money, and this is where for a long time they started their season. Nowadays it's where they end their season here at the Adelaide Street Circuit. Lots of great racing over the years, plenty of good overtaking opportunities around this place, more than you'd think for a street circuit.
Indeed, absolutely fantastic. Indeed, again, that overtaking move, definitely something of absolute beauty, ladies and gentlemen. But indeed, we're getting ready to see not just one, but 2 races here. And indeed, it's going to be Pierce Fox putting on the pole this time. And indeed, Scott Laurenti in the TCR class as well. I have a feeling this is going to be an absolute belter of an event here. As, ladies and gentlemen, away we go. Almost, I'm sorry, I'm getting so excited. I had a feeling the pace car was ducking out then.
Yeah, no, we've still got a few more corners to go. A little bit of history with this final corner. This is notoriously the spot where David Coulthard in 1995, I believe, crashed into the pit lane attenuator. Pit entry is just off there, and it's very easy to run into that wall there. These cars won't have to worry about that, at least the GT4s won't. They'll be able to make the entire 30 minutes, which starts now. Green flag flies, and Pierce Fox leads us away. Meanwhile, it looks like Maxwell Budd having a slightly slow start. Doug Sorrentino all over the back of him there for third as they make their way through the center chicane for the first time. TCR is off now, and Javi Sierra very quickly getting back into the lead.
Yeah, he didn't waste any time, did he? Certainly Michael Pacheco now looks like he's trying to make a battle here with Scott Laurenti. Now, I have to wonder with Scott Laurenti falling as a little bit of a sleep there at the start of this race, or indeed, did he just get absolutely mugged with the slipstream?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but Scott Laurenti still holding on nicely to second place as we check out Andrew Garov and Michael Pacheco battling ahead here of Drew Martin. CJ Conklin and Jason Bush just up ahead of him, and Jason Bush, driver that we haven't seen too much of this season. Oh my God, that's Bush in the wall. That is the first time I've ever seen anyone make that mistake. And it's certainly showing off how brutal this circuit is, turning in late and running off the curb there. Unfortunately, the building got in the way, so we couldn't quite see what happened from the air.
Let's try another view for you, Reece. Certainly the helicopter view was a little bit aggressive there. That's weird.
Looks like he was trying to make the move on CJ Conklin, but the wall juts out on the right-hand side there. So unfortunately, that's going to be Jason Bush towing back to the pits, and he'll have a lot of repairs to get done before the race is out. Meanwhile, Maxwell Budd still holding off Doug Sorrentino there, but he's not that far behind Amrit Vestrala either. The second, third, and fourth place battle is going off right now, and Pete Geggi, a new driver to the series, is certainly giving everyone a run for their money, with Doug Sorrentino picking up a slowdown through the opening chicane.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit unfortunate here. They're absolutely slam dunks in there. Goes, whoa, that was close. Pete Geggi there. Oh my word, what just happened to Tommy?
Oh, yeah, that's not ideal for Tommy Polte. Looks like... How much of a problem was that? Oh, the rear wing fell off. It looks like he went a bit deep into 7.
Indeed, that was definitely colourful. Let's try and get another look here.
So
weird.
Tommy Polte. He's had some very consistent drives this season, but I'm sure he's only the first of many drivers who's going to be having trouble with Adelaide today. It's a notorious racetrack, definitely a car killer in some places. Javi Sierra, TCR leader, has caught right up to Jack Minter.
Oh, look at Pacheco!
Oh, hello. Michael Pacheco taking advantage of Javi Sierra being backed up a little bit by Jack Minter, who is struggling a little bit for pace in the Porsche Cayman. It looks like Pacheco's going to try and go for it at turn 1 here as well, but the straight line speed of the GT4s is obviously a lot better than that of the TCRs. So we've got some actual proper competition at the front of the TCR field. This is fantastic to see, but they've got to be careful when negotiating traffic like this.
Well, I'm going to wonder if you saw something on race control on your end. Oh dear, that's Minter. He's just took the scenic route. Oh dear.
Yep, he's way off in the runoff.
You drivers definitely having a little bit of a learning curve this race, but I have Pete Geggi has gone down pit lane recently. I don't know if you can see anything on your end, but I do have to wonder, has he maybe been penalised for something?
That is the question. I don't see anything from race control. So I'm not entirely sure what the deal is there for Pete. We'll have to double check that a little bit later on. But he is back out on the circuit, and seems like damage repaired. He spent some time in there getting damage done, I think. It looks like he caught the tyre bundle on the exit of the entry to the final sector, so that's not ideal for Pete.
Yeah, I do have to wonder here. Well, it's maybe these guys just getting a little bit too aggressive. Though. See, Amrit Vestrala sets the fastest lap, 124.55, and indeed he's opened up almost 9/10 of a second there to himself over Maxwell Budd. Certainly, I mean, have a look though. The closest battle right now is indeed at the lead of the TCRs. Javi Sierra trying to find his way back. Scott Laurenti again, outstanding qualifying pace, but has not been able to keep it at the front of this race.
Well, Pacheco gliding across the curbs at turn 1. But it looks like Sierra's gotten a slightly better run out of the first chicane. He's going to go for it at turn 4. Very bumpy braking zone into that corner. Got to be careful not to lose the rear on the way in the TCRs, and the move is done for Javi Sierra. Pacheco will surely try his best to fight back, though. The sad story of Pete Geggi, unfortunately, continuing. I flicked back to him just a few moments ago, only to see him running into the wall at turn 7, and he's just gone headlong into the tyre bundles at the final hairpin. So I think it's day done for Pete Geggi. A shame. He could have been a contender for a podium, or at least a top 5.
Yeah, no rear wing there, and then, yeah, he definitely needed a little bit more Michelin on that one.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Pete. Hopefully his luck is better at the remaining 2 rounds of the championship. The lead of GT4, meanwhile, still falling to Piers Fox, but Amrit Vestrala has found his way past Maxwell Budd, still managing to keep the pressure up. And Doug Sorrentino still back in 4th place. It would appear that these guys are going to keep their fight up for as long as they possibly can here, but it's really between our top 2 at the moment. Let's see what Maxwell Budd can do to catch up to them with how close they are. Another problem has just resulted for Tommy Polte there. He's got a mechanical black flag, and Drew Martin as well has towed back to pit lane. Jack Minter with some issues too, potentially. Has picked up some damage on his car. That's an early turn in for the hairpin. I think that might have been the incident that got picked up there, Zippy. He was just a bit deep into the hairpin there.
Yeah, definitely a few drivers having a little bit of a change here. You see Tommy Polte bringing it down the start-finish here. I have to wonder, with no rear wing, did he maybe go a little bit... Oh!
I just pulled over. Yeah, that car was looking quite unstable in a straight line, and I guess he didn't want to be a danger to the TCRs. Side by side through the first chicane. You almost never see that, and that's the reason why Scott Laurenti battling hard.
Oh, my word.
And it looks like that is the reason why we see Scott Laurenti and Andrew Garov both towing back to pit lane from our TCR class.
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit awkward there. Indeed, there's a little bit of a tank slapper. Did nothing but a chain reaction. I gotta say, beautiful synchronization there from the lads, but it's fair to say those cars are indeed beyond toasted. They're brown bread as well.
Yep, this is Adelaide biting. It's happened quite early in this race. Still got 22 minutes to go. Meanwhile, CJ Conklin runs wide at the Duquetteville hairpin as Michael Pacheco... Oh, dearie me. Oh, dear. Sorry, Quinn Manders in the Audi made his way past Jack Minter, but unfortunately Jack having a lot of trouble with Adelaide and with his Porsche Cayman today, and CJ Conklin looked like potentially an innocent victim of all of that. It's been a pretty rough ride for many of our drivers thus far. It has granted Quinn Manders a top 3 position in TCR at the moment, but it is a long way behind Sierra and Pacheco, who will continue to battle for the lead of TCR as we speak. Here's Maxwell Budd then and Doug Sorrentino. It looks like our leaders in GT4 got held up a little bit. There was a car stopped at the left-hander, and it only just escaped out in time for Fox and Vestrala to arrive on the scene. So the race is not over at the front.
Yeah, definitely not. But I have to say, I'm a little bit in shock here that we've lost 4 cars already. 5 cars, 6 cars. Yeah, my apologies. 7. 7 cars we've lost on this race, ladies and gentlemen. It's an 18-car race with 2 different classes, and we've had a few. Certainly, meatballs is on the menu today.
Certainly. Not much in the way of spaghetti, though, so we'll have to get that sorted somehow. Maybe run a couple of burnouts. You'll get some tyre spaghetti that way. Scott Laurenti has made it back out of pit lane, which is good to see, and so is Drew Martin. So we're down to 4 cars towed in pit lane at the moment. Fortunate to see that we'll at least get a few more seeing the finish there, but this is such an intense race at the front. Piers Fox has been knocking on the door of race wins in the GT4 category at a few rounds this season, but I think he has yet to really pull it off. Maybe this could be the week he does it.
Certainly, he's taken really well to Adelaide, and indeed, Amrit Vestrala is definitely keeping him honest. Certainly, this seems like a track here where as much as you want to push, you've just got to dial it back a little bit. And if I was trying to think of a driver here who I would know would be particularly hot at a street circuit, ladies and gentlemen, Connor Bell swings around the Almeida Academy community manager. Indeed, he is a potent race driver, and personally, he loves these street circuits.
Yeah, and rightly so. I'm a fan of street circuits as well when they're done properly, like Adelaide is. It's quite the interesting setup for this circuit as the GT4 leaders come up on lap traffic in their own class there. That is Jack Minter letting our leaders go. The circuit constructed with a purpose-built section around the pits and start-finish line, as you probably by now, and that's in the middle of the Victoria Park racecourse. This circuit is in the Adelaide Parklands, which is basically a green belt around the centre of the city of Adelaide. It's certainly a very nice mix of purpose-built and street circuit, but the purpose-built section still feels like streets, which is really interesting. Turn 8, though, is quite brutal when you try to go side by side on the way in, and Pierce Fox has just found that out.
Yeah, it looks like Amrit Vestrala now is going to get an opportunity. He goes and puts it there on the inside. Not quite got enough here. CJ Conklin, honestly, looking to just basically jump off the ship and get out of the way there. I can't say that I blame him. Doug Sorrentino now making his way by, and indeed looks like Maxwell Budd will have to be the next car, doing his way past the 4th place TCR.
Yes, making his way past in the final sector there. Yeah, turn 8, the fast right-hander. There is actually a passing rule there in supercars in real life. If you are not alongside the B pillar of the car in front, then you have to pull out of the move in the real world. It's almost like a permanent yellow flag situation at that corner. No such rule in the sim, though. You can go for moves pretty much anywhere you want. And out of the first chicane, there's certainly a way to do it, as it looks like CJ has found the wall.
It's not the only one. Looks like Michael Pacheco may have had an incident as well here. Good giddy aunt. What happened there?
The car was damaged before.
Yeah.
That's not ideal for Michael Pacheco. We better go back and find out.
That's oh dear. Let's see if we can see what happened to CJ in the meantime.
So, way into the first chicane here. There's this, he gets on the brakes there through turn 4. That's a very odd incident. Potentially had some damage that we couldn't see to the internals, so ended up losing it on the way out of the first chicane, which usually flat out at that point. So, yeah, very strange incident for CJ.
Yeah, I'm going to try and see if I can find exactly what happened here. Oh dear, that's Maxwell!
Maxwell, no! Oh, he's going to have to do a 3-point turn to get going here. Joshua Travis is still a long way behind, so Bud has the luxury of being able to get up to speed nice and easy. But that's not ideal. He's completely lost touch with the top 3 battle now.
Yeah, let's see exactly how he did it. You see there on the power second, Bird catches a little bit of curve, goes in, and just, away she goes.
Yeah. This being a tight street circuit with plenty of right-angle corners, you do need to run the brake bias pretty far back in order to get the rotation you need for those low-speed maneuvers. And unfortunately, it can catch you out if you hit a curb in the wrong way or ride one of the bumps. It's certainly not a circuit that forgives if you make a tiny mistake. Sorrentino's hoping for a tiny mistake from Amrit Vestrala that may give him the chance to move up into second.
Indeed he is. He's definitely giving it, as Rob would say, the old razzle-dazzle. You see a little bit of wall grazing there from the number 88 car of Vestrala.
Oh, that's really deep in the hairpin then for Vestrala, and Sorrentino will duly take second out of that one. Pierce Fox not far ahead of these guys, only about 1.7 seconds the gap. Now that Sorrentino is ahead of Vestrala, let's see if he's got, with that clear air ahead of him, the potential to catch the lead in the final 16 minutes.
Yeah, I do have a feeling here that a couple of these drivers are not going to be putting this on the Princess Approved track. They certainly, I'll appreciate it's your home venue, but definitely you're probably going to be the only one after this race who's going to be a fan.
Yeah, potentially. I'm going back to see what happened to Michael Pacheco, and
I can't find it on my end.
It looks to me like when we caught him on that replay, it was right after he hit the inside wall at turn 8. He turned in a bit too early and glanced off that Armco barrier that's at the apex of the corner, and unfortunately that spat him back out into the outside wall. Here's how it happened.
Well, we're going to see if we can get a replay here. I've had to go off a different event, and indeed, you know, we're just guessing at this point, see if we can find it. That looks promising. Oh, there you go.
No, that's not the one. That's not the incident. Looks like it happened maybe the lap after that. Have to wait and see if we can try and pull that one up. We may not be able to.
Nah, this is as close as I can get.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, basically, you have to be careful of your turn-in point for turn 8. It's, I would say that it's just about flat out in TCRs, but you got to be very precise on the way in. It's very easy to catch the wall. A little bit more traffic for our GT4 leaders there. That's Chris Schoessler, who's found his way up into 7th in class now, thanks to the problems for Jack Minter, Tommy Polte, and Pete Geggi. Oh, inconvenient spot for Sorrentino and Vestrala to catch up to him, but they managed to make it through cleanly by the skin of their teeth. Minter and Geggi making it back out of the pits and down in 14th and 17th overall, respectively. Got quite a bit of time to make up if they want to get any positions out of that one. But you see Amrit Vestrala is absolutely walloping these apex curbs. He's trying to look for every bit of speed he can.
Indeed, it's definitely a high risk, high rewards now. Indeed, the both of them there are giving it the razzle dazzle. I have a feeling
the razzle dazzle dazzle.
Yeah, that has tassels. I think would be the best way to describe that. Certainly, Sorrentino's going to get a kick out of that of all people. But certainly, I do have a feeling that maybe we need to make like a little unwritten code here, like have like a little shimmy or something if you are indeed listening to the broadcast while racing. Blink
twice for yes, once for no. Oh, that was a little wiggle there from Vestrala. I don't think that was intentional. Okay. The Mustang does have quite a bit of oversteer on power, notoriously, and Vestrala's made good use of that attribute of his car over the course of the season, but he has crashed a few more times than he would ideally like, but he's doing a good job of holding on to the car here at Adelaide. Sorrentino through the chicane then and managing to get a clean run, but I think Vestrala getting through there just a little bit faster. Sorrentino's not afraid to use the curb on the entry of turn 4 either. It seems that Mercedes is riding the bumps very nicely.
Well, indeed. Well, Doug, do the Dougie. I guess that would be the biggest clue we could look for. Ladies and gentlemen, don't ask me how you do that in a car or indeed what the Dougie is. As my understanding is it's a dance move. But you can see here, Piers Fox, though, did manage to slow down a little bit there on lap 11, but indeed the Sorrentino there slowing back a little bit there on 12 as they make their way past Michael Pacheco. Goes fist full. My word, that was close.
That was a little bit too close into turn 8. Piers Fox just cleared Pacheco at the turn-in point. So let's see what they do here in the final sector. The TCRs should be able to somewhat keep up with the GT4s in this section. The average speeds are a bit lower, and there's traffic for Piers Fox up ahead. It looks like we have... Oh, dear. And Jack Minter compressing our top 3 battle as well. What's happened to Sean Phillips here? Still running in 6th place, so he hasn't lost any positions out of this, but he might. Chris Schoessler starting to catch up to him there.
Yeah, let's take a look here and see what happened. That Mustang already appearing a little bit damaged there on the front. No, all good.
Right.
Same as Bud.
Rear end just let go there. He didn't even hit any of the curbs.
Yep, same thing that happened to Maxwell Bud. My only theory would be that the cars just don't have enough downforce there. And when you're going in these slower speeds, you've not got the same kind of air pushing down on the car. And indeed, I think it just gets a little bit lighter.
I mean, this is a fixed setup series, so they've been running the exact same setup at every single round, potentially. The rear wing on the Mustang, in particular, not quite tuned for the hairpins and tight corners of Adelaide. 11 minutes remain, and our GT4 top 3 are still well and truly together. Doug Sorrentino catching up quite a bit to Piers Fox in the last couple of laps with those small appointments with traffic, and... well, we'll see Amrit Vestrala try to pile the pressure on the German machines running in the top 2.
Yeah, certainly I think for myself, I would probably want the McLaren actually for this. It seems to be the most stable, albeit a little bit understeery. The Porsche definitely can be a little bit oversteery indeed, but I've got to say, Pierce Fox doing a beautiful job there, just flirting with the grass on the way in through the final corner.
Yeah, very nicely done. Pierce has certainly enjoyed Adelaide thus far, but Doug Sorrentino is by no means done. He is flashing those headlights on the entry into almost every single corner here, and he's certainly come to fight. There's going to be very little in the way of pit stops for our GT4s. TCRs do have to come in for a little bit of service, but I think they've all covered it with the damage repair that they've had to take. Meanwhile, that's not ideal there for Joshua Travis. Oh dear, Pierce Fox!
Oh, no.
Pierce Fox is around! Our leader has spun!
Oh no! Poor guy. He's led the entire race. Let's take a look at the replay.
Yeah, this happened at turn 6. Trying your best to get the car rotated on the way in here, but if you're unstable even just a little bit on the way into this corner, and you're off the actual line, great avoidance from Sorrentino and Vestrala, but yeah, that is going to be a mistake that Pierce Fox rues for the rest of this race.
I definitely feel for him here as Sean Phillips is now actually going racing side by side here with Chris Scheusler. As indeed, we've got a battle on further back in the field. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the battle for P7.
Yes, Scheusler had been catching up to Mr. Phillips, and after the spin for the Mustang, this Porsche Cayman has caught right up. Chris Scheusler, interesting driving position there. Looks like he's leaning forward a little. Reminds me of Kurt Stenberg, who competes in the Supercars series in the AusNZ sim racing community down under. But certainly giving him focus as he has a position he can potentially take. Black flag for Joshua Travis ahead, and he has been in the pits now for the last minute or so, so that's a freebie for Phillips and Scheusler.
Well, there you go. That's definitely going to feel pretty good for him there as we go back on board here with Doug Sorrentino. And River Stroller has got even closer. And indeed, these guys are absolutely flirting with the wall. But can Sorrentino hold on to it? Indeed, it'll be a great points leap over Vestrala. He just needs to bring it here to the end with 8 minutes left to go.
Yes, Sorrentino and Vestrala have battled quite closely for podiums and wins over the course of the season. Vestrala once again quite deep into the hairpin. Sorrentino will be checking his mirrors and looking over his shoulder every time he enters that braking zone, hoping that Vestrala makes the corner behind. This battle is far from over. 7.5 minutes remain. And, well, run into the final sector looking quite smooth from the both of them, but you can see pretty much every time Vestrala goes a little bit deeper into the corners, he tends to suffer a little on exit, but his entries, he is all over the back of Doug.
Yeah, certainly I have a feeling here that the GT4s are definitely having a hard time, but indeed the beautiful amount of corner cut you can do there through that first chicane is absolutely phenomenal. Certainly adds to the racing experience. It looks like something's happened with, oh dear, Scheusler.
Oh dear. Yeah, Scheusler's fallen back from... Oh, well, he has fallen back from Sean Phillips, though. So, maybe something happened to him here. Looks like he's... looks like Minter going across the curbs in the background there. Nothing too bad, but that was a slight oversteer moment for Scheusler. Yeah, it seems like everyone's suffering that issue through the left-hander. Very easy to lose the rear end.
Indeed, certainly I would definitely prefer being the TCR car on this occasion, but right now we're watching Scott Laurenti, who by some miracle has managed to find his way back into third place, despite the fact he's already been through the pits with a meatball flag, and right now he's got Quinn Manders ahead of him. Well, I'd say that.
Now
Quinn Manders behind him, and is now taking second place. That's definitely one way of making a pass.
Yeah, looks like Manders went deep into turn 11. Scott Laurenti getting it done here, as Manders just avoids getting too hard into the tyre barrier. So good job there from Scott Laurenti. He will retake second, but there's practically no chance of getting the lead in TCR unless Javi Sierra spins. Javi has Phillips, Scheusler, and Travis in the GT4 class between him and second place. Doug Sorrentino just manages to avoid the slowdown there, but does collect the wall. You got to be so careful through that first chicane. As long as you have half the car on the curb, you will be fine. But you go with more than half the car past the curb at the apex of turn 2, that's when you get the slowdown. These guys are pushing that limit.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, it's the same as any race. Indeed, you have to try and get as much out of the track limits as you can. Indeed, we've watched these guys literally graze the side of these GT4 cars, and indeed the TCRs as well. We've got just under 5 minutes left to go. I've got to say, Pastrana, he's the more aggressive driver of the two in late form, but I don't think he's quite got the pace here to get the better of Sorrentino. But on best lap, they're just 200ths of a second between them. I'm not sure how to spin this one. Honestly, it could go either way.
Yeah, I think it could. I think a bit of traffic in the wrong place might certainly play a part here. Oh, Sorrentino is forced to go wide there for Scott Laurenti. And that does give a couple of tenths back to Amrit Vestrala in the process. 4.5 minutes now on the clock. And the battle for the lead is on in GT4. Vestrala making the apex of the final corner and getting an all right run on the way out. But it seems like Doug Sorrentino's just been looking after those exits a little better.
Yeah, certainly you definitely got to play it incredibly cautious. A little bit of wiggle there through the chicane. And certainly Vestrala is going to be seeing this happen and think maybe this could be an opportunity as he's there trying to put it on the inside and he's got it horribly wrong. Contact there. Sorrentino ends up absolutely devouring the wall. The back end of that Mercedes does appear like Shakira has had a very rough night.
A bad run out of the chicane, and Amrit Vestrala obviously thought he could take advantage of that, but he sent it from a long way back, didn't he?
Yeah, he definitely looked a little bit ambitious here. Like, that's got to be 2 car lengths. It's a Dan Salmon Classic, and indeed, straight to the side of Sorrentino. Honestly, if that was me, I'd be trying to give the position back. That's pretty cut and dried, that one.
Yeah, that's not an ideal incident to have. Well, Vestrala is in the lead now, and Sorrentino back to third under pressure from Maxwell Budd. Looks like the rear wing is loose. Look at that. I've never seen that before.
Well, indeed, it's not just the rear wing that's loose. Indeed, he is... If that rear bumper was a skirt, indeed, there is nothing hiding underneath it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put it like that. As Javi Sierra brings it down for a scheduled pit stop.
Yes, the TCRs cannot make it to the end of the 30 minutes on the fuel that they start with, so they usually do have to jump in for a splash at some point. Javi's getting it done right at the end of the race. 2 laps to go for our GT4 leader, Amrit Vestrala, who took the lead in a fashion that I think a few people will see as controversial. Regardless, he somehow managed to keep the car clean in the midst of all of that, and currently leads by about 6.7 seconds over PS Fox.
Yeah, I do have to wonder if, where CJ's been doing race control and racing, I do have to wonder if it will be a post-race penalty, or indeed if he will have to put it in play during the race. But certainly on that one, I got to say, Amrit, you're a good guy, but 100% that one's on you, pal.
Yeah. As you said, Zippy, it was pretty cut and dry. Long way back sending that pass. And I don't know if he would have been able to make it through the corner if there were no cars in front of him braking that late. But 2 minutes remain. And Vestrala is still keeping it nice and stable in the lead, but Pierce Fox is making up bulk time on him. Obviously, the incident between Vestrala and Sorrentino cost him a couple of seconds, but the gap is now down to 5.5 seconds as Sorrentino just had a major slide coming through turn 8. Obviously, that loose rear wing is playing its part there.
Yeah, it's fair to say that Mercedes is definitely feeling a bit of a bad day. Even the creature on the side of it's looking a little bit sad about it.
Yeah, it's been not an ideal race for Doug Sorrentino, but
he's got yellow.
Yeah, that's a slowdown for Amrit Vestrala. Cut a little bit too much of the first chicane there, so now the gap is under 5 seconds for the lead. Potentially, Pierce Fox could redeem himself from his spin earlier and take the win back, but he's only going to have a couple of laps to do it. Judging by the time left when Vestrala crossed the line, I think this lap we're on might be the penultimate one.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree there, as that is somebody's wing laying in the
No.
middle of the track. I do have to wonder, my first thought, is it Sorrentino's? No.
Well, seeing Pete Geggi is ahead of Vestrala and Fox at the moment. I think he might be the car in question that has lost his rear wing. Brings it to a stop on the way into the hairpin to let Vestrala go.
Yeah, indeed. He's definitely got some damage on the front of that car. That right front corner's been hit. That rear end has been hit. Indeed, the debut has not quite gone quite as spectacularly as hoped.
Yep, saw that rear wing on the ground, and then saw Geggi going slow just a little bit down the track, and I thought, that must be where the rear wings come from. Just a few seconds remaining on the timer. Yep, he's going to cross the line with just 2 seconds to go, and Amrit Vestrala now begins the last lap of the race. It's 3.6 seconds separating himself and Pierce Fox. One mistake from Vestrala, and Fox will be right there with him.
Well, not only that, he caught up about 2.5 seconds in that last lap as well. I do have to wonder, though, a couple of TCR cars are not going to be expecting that extra lap. That could actually have a few of them running out of fuel here in the final stages of this race.
Yeah, certainly could. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Majority of the TCR field have come in for stops, and majority of them for damage. So they have spent quite a bit of time in pit lane. I'm optimistic. I think the majority of them are going to make it, but as you say, that extra lap might throw things off a little bit strategy-wise. It looks like Vestrala has held on to the gap quite nicely. He runs a little bit deep in the hairpin again, and quite narrow on the exit. He's not quite maximizing the line through there, but he's done just enough to be able to hold on to about 2.7 seconds coming into the final sector. Amrit Vestrala, despite being caught majorly by Pierce Fox, is going to hold on in the final corner, and well, we'll see what the stewards have to say about it afterwards, but on track at least, Amrit Vestrala is going to take the win in the GT4 category, with Pierce Fox finishing in second place. Maxwell Budd, coming up behind Scott Laurenti, is going to finish in P3 in class. And with that, Laurenti is going to secure second place in TCR. A very nice job.
Indeed, a good job there by Javi Sierra as well. I think he's one of the few TCRs who didn't end up having an offer. Indeed, a very clean race by him. Certainly using that 3000 IR to his benefit. But I do have to have a feeling that Doug Sorrentino is not going to be thrilled here with that race.
No, I don't think he will. It was through no fault of his own that he finished off the podium today. As the field comes across the line, it looks like that's all the battles done and dusted. But yeah, this lead battle ending in this fashion a little bit earlier. Amrit Vestrala potentially missing his braking point for turn 4 there and getting into the side of Sorrentino. And well, that was how Vestrala got the lead, for better or for worse.
Indeed, definitely on that one, I'm sorry, I will admit, from a race control point of view, yep, I'm sorry, buddy, you would indeed be getting nailed for that, but we are going to give you the results here in just a few minutes. Before we have a chat here with Pierce Fox, certainly definitely feel a little bit unfortunate for him there. He had the race in the bag. Certainly, Adelaide, Reese, I gotta say, you're warm and fuzzy, and this track was far from it. Taking prisoners here today.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we love it so much from a broadcast perspective. It certainly makes for an entertaining show. Vestrala 2 seconds ahead of Fox at the line, with Maxwell Budd completing the provisional podium. Doug Sorrentino finishing down in 4th place with some pretty heavy damage to the rear end. A lap down for Sean Phillips, Chris Scheusler, and Joshua Travis. Scheusler making up quite a bit of time throughout that race, just by keeping it cleaner than everyone around him. Pete Geggi spent a lot of time in pit lane. They will ultimately be classified 7 laps down, but it would have been interesting to see what he could do with the pace that he could carry. Jack Minter and Tommy Polte rounding out our field, and Polte with that result may be in danger of losing his championship top 5.
Indeed, certainly that was definitely an unfortunate race for a few of these drivers. As we have a look here at the TCR results, ladies and gentlemen, Javi Sierra once again takes a win with Scott Laurenti in second. Fair play to him. He's had consistently good qualifying pace, but I think it's second place despite the race he had. He's going to be feeling pretty good about that. Quinn Manders takes third. Nice result here for him. Michael Pacheco in 4th with CJ Conklin in 5th. Drew Martin in 6th with Andrew Garov in 7th. And indeed, Jason Bush, a new driver here, in 8th. That was definitely...
Jason.
it was a hectic race, Reese. I gotta say, I've enjoyed Adelaide, and certainly I've broadcast it once before. I do remember what I broadcast. That was GT3. I have a feeling we're going to get a different kind of feedback here from the drivers. So, speaking of which, let's find out. Reese, I understand you got Mr. Pierce Fox here.
I have indeed. Well, fantastic qualifying from you, Pierce. Pole position in the end. The Cayman does seem to suit Adelaide very nicely with its smaller footprint compared to others in the GT4 class.
Yeah, it did a lot better than I thought it was going to. But obviously I had that ill-fortunate spin. So.
Yeah, let's talk about that spin for a second, because you know that section of the circuit, very low average speed, and it seemed like everyone in the GT4 class was having some kind of trouble with rear end stability. What's your view on that?
Usually I'm good in that corner. I messed up my trail braking, so I didn't get on the gas soon enough. So my brake bias just let me slip the rear end out.
Well, regardless, thanks to the contact for the lead between Amrit and Doug, you managed to grab a second place here regardless. So making good on your pace somewhat, and a good haul of championship points with just a couple of rounds remaining.
Yeah, it was kind of a bad wreck, but I got to gain a place back from it, so I'm appreciative of it.
And depending on how race control view that incident, potentially, you might end up getting points for P1 anyway. I don't want to set anything in stone just yet, but considering the crash, that is a possibility. Regardless, you're going to be doing double duty tonight. You're racing in the GT3 race that's going up very shortly, so some good preparation.
Yeah, I'm putting laps in right now. It's always kind of hard to transition because the lines are a little different, especially with the BMW being front engine versus mid engine. So,
well, we wish you the best of luck, Pierce. Congratulations on the podium. It was all about survival today, and you've got 40 more minutes to survive coming up, so best of luck.
Thanks.
Pierce Fox there in the 711 Porsche. Number 24. Honestly, Zippy, I'm really hyped for the race to come. It's going to be very interesting in the GT3s.
Yeah, definitely. I have a feeling with the larger grid and the D2 classes yet again for the GTD and the GTD Pro. I'm hoping it's a little bit of a cleaner race, but certainly a little bit of controversy here to start the evening off. Certainly, Amrit Vistrala definitely in a little bit of hot water there, but fair play. Pierce Fox able to get there in second, and indeed had some fantastic pace. Certainly a good, fair, and honest race by him. But ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed going to take a short break here while we get ready for that race. But don't go away. Make yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, or indeed crack a cold one. Indeed, maybe check out Cold Carbless for that as well. But we'll be right back in just a few short moments.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen.
And go.
You're watching Pit Road Productions. It's the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship, round 8 of 10 here at the Adelaide Street Circuit. An action-packed, dramatic, controversial GT4 and TCR race down, done, and dusted. And across the curbs at turn 2 in the background, we will see that happening quite a bit, I'm sure, in the GT3 race, which is about to go off here in qualifying at the moment for the 40-minute race to come, which will require a pit stop for fuel. Question is, when do you do it? A street circuit does change up the strategy a little bit. If you're just joining us, I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box and also producing behind the scenes. Zippy, your thoughts on Adelaide so far? I think with the pace increasing in the GT3s, a bit more downforce, we're going to be seeing some more cornering speed, but that just narrows the margin for error.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to get incredibly spicy, certainly going through that first chicane, and indeed where the pit exit is in terms of turn 1, I have a feeling we may see some incidents there. Certainly I have seen it once before, and indeed it was absolute chaos.
Yeah, for sure. That is one thing that I actually completely forgot about until you mentioned it. Yeah, pit exit runs right out onto the racing line on the entry into the center chicane. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for sure. In a field that is quite numerous, the GT3 category by far the most popular one in this league. So let's see how they go in qualifying.
Indeed, let's do exactly that, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, Bryce Crone sat at the top of the food chain. But before we get too excited, let's take a look here at the championship standings going into this round.
Absolutely. So in the GTD Pro category, Alex Zart has been in the championship lead for quite some time, but Joshua Wilford has been catching up steadily over the last few rounds, and that's narrowed the championship gap now to 13 points, and that's very close indeed. Bryce Crone in third place, another almost 30 points back from Wilford and Zart. Maxwell Budd, he finished on the podium in the GT4 race earlier, currently sits fourth in the standings with Manuel Sandoval rounding out our top 5. Javi Sierra, championship leader in TCR, rounding out the top 6. In the GTD standings, Ben Millick is on top and has a pretty good margin over Kenneth Narvaez and Jack Minter, but still, we have 2 more rounds of this to go, and Adelaide, as you said, Zippy, takes no prisoners, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of jostling around in these championship standings after this round.
We're going to have to put that on hold for just a second. Just trust me on this one, Reese. Just trust me.
Okay. All right.
Are you ready for this?
What do you got for me?
Are you ready? This is going to be... Indeed, this guy lost the bet.
Oh. Well done to Wilton Palermo. It's given Charles Leclerc on Twitch during the pandemic vibes. That's a very... I wonder what the story is behind this. Wilton Palermo certainly not losing any pace from that.
I may be able to answer that. Indeed, I called him out last round about him absolutely working at his guns. And then for some reason, a banana came into context. And indeed... I gotta say, fair play to the guy. That can't be comfortable. It must be warm. But you know what? You are the best banana I've ever seen in a sim racing rig.
Righto. Let's see what Palermo can do, whether or not the banana suit gives him a couple of tenths. At the moment, he's sitting in 15th in qualifying, just been shuffled back to 16th with Jones getting a little bit of an improvement there. 7 minutes remain in the session. Bryce Crone is your current provisional pole sitter. Very good drive from him, but the onboard lap now from Wilton Palermo. Across the line he comes, and on the way into turn 1 you're braking quite late between the 150 markers. And trying your best to carry as much speed through turn 1 as you can. Ride those bumps, especially in the braking zone here for turn 4. Turn in. It's a little bit faster than you think through that first right-hander at turn 4. Then turn 5. You've got to be careful of the tyres on the outside. And turn 6. Well, you carry as much speed as you can on the way out to set up the run into turn 7. A very sharp curve on the inside and very brutal on the outside too. You got to be careful not to ride that that curb too much, otherwise you won't get the traction down the back straight, and you are psyching yourself up for turn 8. In a GT3 car, it's flat out through here. Barely a lift at all for Wilton Palermo as he makes his way down to the Duquetteville hairpin. A very wide entry, narrows up on the exit. Got to be so careful of that curb on the exit. It will spin you if you're not careful. Then into turn 11. High curb on the inside, flat curb on the outside, but the tyre bundle and walls will greet you if you push too hard. And now you're back into the purpose-built area of the circuit, braking early but gently into the final hairpin, bringing the speed down and then back up again through the gears and across the line. That is a lap around Adelaide in a GT3 car, and up the top, they're doing it in 1 minute and 19 seconds.
Well, you say that, it looks like these guys are just about knocking it on the door here of hitting in the 118s. Indeed, 119.06 there from Bryce Crone. Certainly the Real Street guys are absolutely out there in force. We've got a GTD Pro and indeed a GTT driver working together there. But Alex Zar, once again, has found himself at the top of the food chain. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lamborghini of the field. Indeed, one of them. I believe we do have a second one in the form of Michael. Can't remember his last name. Michael...
Clark?
Thank you. Michael Clark, who's actually absent this week. Mr. Clark, please locate yourself into the session. Certainly we'd love to see more Lamborghinis than ever. Right now, Mr. Zart currently doing quite well there, and indeed leading your championship.
Yeah, he's putting himself in exactly the right position to keep that championship lead. Street circuit's traditionally quite hard to pass on, so if he can get a good defense on, then he may be able to keep that lead. He only holds provisional pole by 0.03 of a second, though. There's every possibility that Bryce Crone and Ben Melick could overcome him there. It's incredibly close up the front. Joshua Wilford sitting in P4, the reigning champion of the GT3 category. He was asking me just before we went live if I had any tips for him, because he'd only just bought the track before the session went up. So he's still learning his way around this place, but he's doing all right with it. Makes an improvement. 119.1. Still remains in 4th, but it seems he's having some trouble with the first chicane. Oh!
Oh dear, that's one of the Real Street guys.
Wow.
That is indeed Bryce Crone there getting into the mix as Alex Hart just absolutely waltzes on by and says nothing to do with me. Fair play to him, indeed. That's getting spicy. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Williams just managed to find his way up into 2nd place here in the GTD class.
Very nicely done from Jay Williams, but 7th place at the moment. The GTD pole goes to Ben Melick in 3rd, so a few cars separating Williams and Melick. Williams, I'm sure, will be happy with his BMW here today. The BMW is considered one of the easier cars to drive in the GT3 class, the exact kind of car that you need for a circuit like Adelaide, and he's making very good use of it. Ben Melick, though, 3rd place in the session at the moment, and finding his way through to the final sector. Some lovely pace that Melick is putting on at the moment. He's surely a contender for the GTD win today. Into the final sector he'll come. Let's see if he makes an improvement on this lap.
Well, certainly he's currently in 3rd place overall with a 120 flat, ladies and gentlemen. Can we see him make it into the 190s? He's got to find quite a lot of time there. Actually, sorry, my apologies. His last lap was a 120 flat. Indeed, a 119.11 his fastest time. As I say that, Alex Zar, he's gone even quicker. Ladies and gentlemen, he had the need to manage to get it down to an 18.91.
Very nicely done from Alex Zart, and that's the perfect time here with mere 2 minutes remaining in the session. I think as long as he can keep that pace consistent, then he'll have pole position for sure. But we'll have to wait and see what kind of response there is from Bryce Crone, who's back out there and doing more laps. So just got to make sure that the tyres are up to temperature. It can be a bit difficult to get the tyres up to temp when you're traveling at low speed through a lot of the corners around here.
Indeed you can, but before we get too excited, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a quick peek here and see exactly what's going on in the office that is race control.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier on, CJ Conklin, very hard-working guy. Not only does he run the series, he also is the head admin, does race control, and races in the TCR class. Amazing that he finds time to do all of that. But I get the feeling, you know, we've already had a street circuit round this season at Long Beach, and at Belle Isle too, in fact. This is actually the 3rd street circuit we'll be racing at this season. CJ's going to have a lot of work to do, I'm sure, because street circuits tend to bring out the Kraken, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. Not just one, I'd say several of them. And certainly, if you're wondering if this guy looks familiar, ladies and gentlemen, he's just been in the Podium 1 advert recently, advertising a little bit of the new gear. I believe it was one of the new wheels as well. Might have been the Mustang one, but don't quote me on that. Certainly, he's now a not just talented musician, he's also an actor as well. But don't get me wrong, he was a sim enthusiast first. So he's much love there for our race control and indeed league admin, CJ Conklin.
Indeed. Well, we will see the session enter its dying seconds now. Alex Zart is done. He's not going to set any more laps. It's up to Krone and Milik to try their best to overcome him here. And Krone at the moment is running times in the mid 1 minute 20s, so I don't know if he's going to have any improvements on board for this final lap that he's on.
Yeah, certainly he got a little bit unfortunate getting into that tangle there with Wilford a little bit earlier, but certainly Kevin Narvaez, he's currently there in P8 overall, but second in class indeed. Ben Mellick getting a good five-car leapfrog on him indeed. I gotta say, looking through this, the GTD Pro class actually they're not dominating the top of the field today. Certainly 1 through 6, you know, they got the top 6, you know, they got 6 out of 7, but after that, it's completely sporadic.
Yeah, it is. They're really mixed up in the middle of the GTD class, so we'll have to wait and see how that works out. Because you know, circuits like this do tend to mix up the field quite a bit. Final cars across the line then as the checkered flag is officially flying, and Krone did not get a valid lap time in, so he will make no improvement. Across the line for Hans Brady, and that's going to be 17th place for him. Excellent job. And now we're just waiting on Maxwell Budd, Amrit Vestrala, and Michael Pacheco, who are joining us from the GT4 and TCR categories, to set their final laps. Budd is going to secure 5th, and Vestrala currently sitting in 6th place. Can he make any improvements on this final lap?
Yeah, certainly he's going to be in a little bit of a different change of wheels here. I do have to wonder as well, going from the GT4 AMG to the GT3 AMG, what kind of differences you would feel. Certainly he was rocking a Mustang, but certainly I almost wonder if it's intentional that he didn't choose the same kind of car.
Potentially. I have driven both the AMG GT3 and GT4, and they do have some pretty similar attributes. Of course, the GT4 cars have much less downforce, and the tires take much longer to come up to temperature, so it is a bit more of a wild ride. But these GT3s, once they get those tires up to temp, they drive almost like F1 cars. It's pretty crazy, the downforce that they have, the speed that they carry through these corners. Final few seconds then, and everyone will be spat back into pit lane, and it'll be time to make our way to the grid for round number 8 of the GT3 Championship. An excellent pole position from Alex Zart, our championship leader. 118.8 in the end was his final time. Bryce Krone's going to start alongside him on the front row. Ben Millik takes pole position in GTD with Joshua Wilford, reigning champion, alongside. Maxwell Budd and Amrit Vestrala are your third row, with Chris Bracetti and Kenneth Narvaez on row 4. Our top 10 rounded out by Jay Williams and the man who finished second in the GT4 race earlier, Pierce Fox.
Having a look there at P11, it's going to be Jack Minto and Michael Belair in 12th. Wilton Palomo, the Banana Rammer man himself, he's there in 13th with Pete Chechi in 14th. Andrew Garoff takes 15th with Sean O'Brien in 16th. Hans Brady, he's going to be there in 17th with Michael Pacheco in 18th. Matt Jones in 19th, and indeed Joshua Travis rounding out your top 20.
Tommy Polte starts in 21st place alongside Kevin Rosario, and then we have Sean Phillips joined by Quinn Manders on row number 12. They were the last drivers to set times. Doug Sorrentino did enter the session, but he hasn't had a time on the board in practice or qualifying, and I believe he might be helping out CJ in race control.
Yeah, I have a feeling, certainly fair play to Doug there. Definitely he's going to have a few things to say. I do have to wonder, though, if the 88 car will feel any wrath from race control, certainly after the incident we just saw in GT4.
Yeah, there's always potential for that, but I'm sure Doug will put his personal feelings on that incident aside, whatever they may be, and do the job of adminning the race. Well, rolling start on the cards once again for our GT3 competition, and we'll see, I think, quite a frenetic first lap out of this one, Zippy. Of course, the first couple of turns are quite narrow, but GT3 racing is often more aggressive than other forms of racing at this level, so I think some drivers may try going too wide through that first chicane, but on cold tyres, that's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, definitely, and indeed, top of advice is always, cold tires, let them get a little bit of heat in, certainly with a street circuit as well. The area for, the room for forgiveness is pretty much non-existent at this point, but before we get too excited, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a little bit of a shout out here to the drivers we got on the driver cams. We've got CJ Conklin, Michael Pacheco, Alex Andrew Garov, Michael Belair. I do believe we've seen him on a camera before. Bananarama, has he got lobster hands as well, or is that just a sim racing gloves? My apologies, I've enjoyed a bit of Jimmy Broadbent. Will Palermo, he's on the driver cams with Ben Malik as well, and indeed Tommy Polte. As I got to say, Ben Malik right now absolutely working those arms there. He's currently going to be in third place on the grid, and indeed he is absolutely cranking that wheel.
Certainly is. Showing the guns, as do quite a few of the drivers in this championship. I don't think they'll need to do much weaving because the track temperature is quite high, 42 degrees Celsius, which translates to about 110 Fahrenheit. That is certainly toasty. So the tires will be up to temperature very quickly, and I think this race may become one about managing the tires, preventing them from overheating.
Indeed, certainly they will. We're just going to try and flick through and get all of these driver cams on here very quickly. Huge thank you to the guys at Tommy Polte making an appearance in the call. But actually, one of the underappreciated GT3s I feel that's I've actually got an Acura in here by Matt Jones. Something it's good to have that in here as well. But I've got to say, absolutely fantastic grid we got here today. 24 cars taken to the start. Looks like Kevin Mazzario's got a pit lane start as well.
Yeah, that's not ideal. It looks like his connection actually dropped from the server when they were gridding up, so he doesn't have much choice in that matter. Hopefully he'll still get an alright result. As long as you keep it safe around here, you will be granted positions when others make mistakes ahead of you. Andrew Garov starting down in the field at the moment, 15th, and he'll have quite a bit of work to do, as will Michael Belair. They're both trying their best here to preserve something in this midfield, which is going to be the real action zone, I think, for the race to come. Pacheco had a couple of problems in his Audi TCR, but he's back in his McLaren and will surely be maximizing the pace as the leaders come around the final corner to take the race start. A lot of marbles on the outside of that hairpin. Got to be careful not to pick up too many of them. As Zart brings us to a start here, compressing the field a little bit. It's a really even start between Alex Zart and Bryce Crone as they find their way into turn one for the first time. Zart was defensive on the way in, slightly tighter line, so there should be a slightly better run out of the corner for Crone, but there's not going to be any chance to make the move. Zart is still defensive as Crone now falls under massive pressure from his teammate Ben Malik and Joshua Wilford, hassling the both of them.
Well, indeed, it looks like CJ Conklin may indeed be racing, as I have a feeling something's happened a little bit further back here. Oh dear, something has definitely happened. Oh dear, oh dear.
That's bad. Both of our McLarens involved in that incident, and the yellow flag has been thrown. That's first safety car of the race already on lap one. Oh, looks like a really big hit.
Yeah, this is on board with Michael Pacheco here, and I have a feeling that was Andrew Garov right behind. We'll take a quick look here. Look at that BMW. Indeed, it's coming in, it's coming in. Oh, he gets a little nudge there. I think that might have been Kevin Mazzario.
Yeah, the real street Mustang.
No, he's in an AMG.
Okay.
It's Brady.
So who's it?
Hans Brady there.
Not ideal for Hans Brady.
Let's say look here on board.
Yeah, so he ended up hitting the BMW into Michael Pacheco. Just, completely missed the braking point for turn 4.
Yeah, that's definitely, that one's pretty cut and dried. Certainly a little bit unfortunate there for Hans Brady. Indeed, as he's got a couple of drivers here in the pit road, ladies and gentlemen. You can see there, that's Michael Checo, and Gugurov is in there as well. And that's one of the Porsches coming down as well.
Jeji,
he's got such good pace. It's a shame to see him in pit road, and already he's picked it up as well. That's tyres, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be irritated that he didn't click those off.
Yeah, even though the track temperature is pretty high, you still shouldn't have to take tires at the stop. GT3 tires can easily last a full tank stint, and the race is only 40 minutes in this one. So despite the fuel tank restriction, yes, you will have to take fuel, but tires not necessary. But Jeji will get his pit stop out of the way early, and I think potentially had damage on the car as well, so we'll see what more he can do from here. Alex Zart just trying to get his tyres up to temp. He didn't really have a chance there, only made it halfway around the first lap before the safety car came out.
Well, indeed, I've got some good news though for Alex. Indeed, he has a cheerleading section going on in the chat. Jeff Winkers there saying, you all make a great sim racing production. Look forward to it every Monday. Well, certainly thank you very much, Jeff, from both myself and Reese and all of us here at Pit Road Productions. But indeed, supporting Zart 70, let's go. Indeed, he's a good bet right now. He's certainly leading the championship. And despite the incident he had last race, it looks like Adelaide may be a little bit kinder to him as long as he can keep the car together.
Yeah, some excellent pace from the number 70 today, and it looks like he'll be able to hold on to that, all things being equal. What's happened?
Black flag.
Yes. Happening a few moments ago for Hans Brady. Race Control has stamped their authority on that incident that ended up causing the caution. Brady somehow not having to come into the pits, even though it looks like there's some damage on the front end of his car.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate, ladies and gentlemen. Just we'll try and keep you up to date on the broadcast side with that kind of thing going on. But indeed, I got to say that one's pretty cut and dried. Sorrentino would have looked at that and just applied band stick as due course required.
It was in fact CJ Conklin who applied that black flag. He never took to the grid, so yeah, he is still firmly in race control for this one. Hans Brady comes in to serve that black flag. He's followed in by Matt Jones and the sole Acura in the field, who appears to be getting his pit stop out of the way early. I think that's a smart move, honestly. Under safety car early on, you know, the timer is still ticking down as time goes on, so you are potentially able to get the fuel you need to get to the finish by pitting now under these conditions.
There is one problem with that theory there, Reese, and if this race doesn't go into another yellow flag, or indeed the car cannot, it's limited, because they do, I believe, limit the tanks to force a pit stop. That may backfire, because he might not be able to put enough fuel in the car to get to the end. I'm going to say he's probably going to be pretty dependent on another yellow flag at this point, but wondering why we're watching Kevin Rosario quickly. I have a feeling he's going to be the hard charger for today's race.
Yeah, Rosario's already up 4 places. The most positions gained so far is actually Sean Phillips, who's up 6 places as things stand. But, of course, that can change in the blink of an eye here. Yeah, on the subject of the fuel, I mean, I guess it also depends on whether the fuel tank limitation is hard-coded into the session settings, or if the restriction is just for the starting fuel amount, because it is possible to restrict the starting fuel in the setup while allowing drivers to fill it up all the way if they need to. So maybe some clarification required on that front.
Yeah, definitely. My experience is the tank is limited as well, but indeed the lights on the safety car are out. I have a feeling I'm going to be getting racing underway in just a few short moments now. Certainly, when I see a race start and I see these two drivers, Alex Zart and indeed Bryce Crone, I'm pretty sure I've got a prediction about what's going to happen. It's going to involve this this zebra print Mercedes absolutely going for a huge move at turn 1. Certainly with his teammate behind him, Ben Mellick. Not only that, the GTD leader. I do have to wonder here, what are we going to see? But Joshua Wilford up there in the mix as well. He's definitely going to be looking to try and score some free positions and try and break away at this race start.
Yes, he's Got to be careful not to... Oh, he sent Melik wide in the final corner, and Zart spins on the green flag!
Gosh.
That's a loss of traction over the curb there for Alex Zart, and the entire field will stream by him down the start-finish straight. Look at him! He's devastated!
That was definitely a blooper moment for sure. I feel for him. I just seen him run a little bit too wide, and that was the end of that. Indeed, there's going to be a couple of drivers giggling there, as that's Wilford on the inside. A little bit of contact there, but able to get by. These guys are still going neck and neck here, as it looks like Melik is looking to fight back. The Mustang trying to put all of that power down. He's on the inside again. More contact, more volume, and that's worked out terribly for Melik. He bounces off the wall, and now he's going to have Pastrana applying a little bit of pressure as well. Maxwell put in the mix as well.
That seemed a little too aggressive, I think, from Wilford. Not only was he alongside in the final corner when they should have been single file, but he was really diving, as this is going to cause some big drama at the hairpin. Chris Brassetti making up those spots there. Strala and Bud making their way past as well. Kenneth Narvaez at the moment trying to hold on to his spot in the midst of all of this, and that's, oh dearie me, Wilford's gone off now.
That's definitely unfortunate indeed. He's going to be wanting to get that Mustang rolling again, as that is one of the real street drivers there. That's Kevin Rosario. He's now up 7 positions, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Ben Melik has made it down pit road. Interesting.
Yeah, I think with the...
damage?
I think with, the contact with Joshua Wilford there and the subsequent running into the wall, no surprise to see that Melik has come into pit lane. Look at the damage to the front left. Fast repair done, and he'll get fuel on the way through, and hopefully that will be enough to get him to the end, but it's not certain as things stand. We are in just about 30 minutes to go. With the amount of time spent under safety car, potentially you should be able to get home from here, but Wilford has been given a black flag thanks to that contact with Ben Melik. Race control immediately stamping their authority once again, so despite the 2 or 3 of the pits, it looks like Wilford's going to fall back even more positions.
Yeah, that definitely did not go fine. It was indeed a high risk and no reward scenario for him there, but right now Alex let's see if he is still running. That was definitely, I feel for him. I mean, I'm lost for words. As race starts go, that was a first here on pit road.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal for Zard at all. And to bring what happened to Wilford into it as well, this was a round where Joshua Wilford needed to take advantage of mistakes like this, but unfortunately a bit too aggressive on the initial race lap, and that didn't even look like much of a spin there for Alex Zard. It's just the car just got wheel spin, and he just went straight into the inside wall.
Yeah,
caught the grass and
that's unfortunate.
Well, he'll find his way back into 18th place as Wilford serves his black flag there. Stopped in pit lane. Got to wonder if there's further issues there for Joshua. But the race is still ongoing. Here for the top 4, Pierce Fox ahead of Kenneth Narvaez, defensive into the Dequetteville hairpin. But the racing line is where the rubber is, and Narvaez has a lovely turn in for the corner right on the back of the BMW coming into the final sector. Has to pull out of doing the move there. It's very difficult to send one up the inside at that section. There is not much room.
Indeed, he's definitely applying a good amount of pressure. Maxwell Budd going to be our camera car as they go side by side here around the final corner, going for the over-under here. It's Kevin Narvaez, and indeed, I've got to say, Maxwell Budd with that Porsche, he's going to be able to absolutely slam on the anchors, but it's going to be enough there as Bryce Crone has picked up a slowdown flag as well. Look at this, Narvaez applying even more pressure. Don't get me wrong, Michael Belair lurking in the background as well. He's been away traveling recently, ladies and gentlemen, but indeed, he's back, and he's looking to try and find his way back towards the podium.
Yeah, that he is. Excellent traction from the Porsche out of the corners. Crone has not cleared that slowdown yet. Chris Brassetti has found his way up to 2nd now, and Vestrala rounding out the podium places. It's quite a jumbled field compared to qualifying.
Yeah, it definitely is. Indeed, the GTD Pro drivers have indeed managed to put a seal there on the top 4, almost the top 6, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Ken Pavares getting into the mix there, but I do have to wonder, a couple of drivers making an early pit strategy. Indeed, I have a feeling that some of these guys, they just want out of the traffic at this point, and I got to say, I can't blame them for that either.
Yeah, of course. Traffic is always a problem at a street circuit, and Adelaide's still relatively new, only added to the iRacing service in the last build as Manders caught the apex wall at turn 8 there, a little bounce off from the McLaren. But Manders has quite the battle ahead of him here with Sean Phillips joining him 7 places up for the both of these guys. But the hardest charger in the field at the moment is Kevin Rosario, who's gained 9 spots over the course of the action so far.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I called it so far. Indeed, the real street guys are without a doubt aggressive drivers for sure, but definitely entertaining nonetheless.
Oh, there's been a problem for Kenneth Narvaez at turn 1. He caught the curb at turn 2 and ended up going hard into the concrete, and now he's dropping down the order like a stone. Front end is almost destroyed on that Mercedes. Here's how it happened for him. Just caught the curb. That was Michael Belair's view of it. Very close call indeed, but yeah, things can go wrong very quickly at Adelaide. This is what happened.
There you see here, goes around turn 1, cuts the chicane, gets a little bit too much curb, and indeed absolutely ricochets, but fair play to him. He kept control of that and got it off the racing line.
Lucky escape for the Porsche of Maxwell Budd as well. You saw just how close he got to Narvaez when Kenneth was bouncing off the wall there. So probably a deep breath, wiping sweat off the brow and right back to it for Maxwell. But for Kenneth, he's back in 12th and chasing down Joshua Travis. It seems like the car is still handling okay, but evidently not to his liking. He'll bring it in pit lane.
Yeah, I can't say that I blame him there. Indeed, get the pit stop, get the fast repair, and indeed get that car back out on track as soon as humanly possible. Meanwhile, though, it's fair to say Joshua Wilford, his race is done at this point.
Yeah, Joshua Wilford is, I think, retired from the race now after getting that black flag. So, unfortunately, won't be making much of an advance on Alex Zart here today. Zart is still back in 15th place, just behind this whole group that we're looking at the moment. Matt Jones in the Acura is trying to make his way past Tommy Polte, and Kevin Rosario not too far ahead either. Joshua Travis is the BMW at the front of this pack. It's a very nice battle these guys are having right now. But Jones is the only one of these guys that has come through the pits. He only made it through at the end of lap 2, though, so he may have to pit again.
Yeah, certainly let me keep an eye here on that Acura. I have a feeling as well. It's one of the more frugal vehicles here for fuel. Indeed, rocking that Ravel livery as well. But certainly, I have a feeling that we're going to see a bit more of a shake-up here as we've got all sorts of battling happening here. Amrit Estrella keeping Chris Mercedes on his, but indeed, further back though, Maxwell Budd and Piers Fox yet again duking it out, this time at Adelaide.
Yeah, in GT3 machinery. It's certainly been entertaining watching these guys. Bud is very aggressive on the steering on the way into turn 1 there. He's bringing it over to the left-hand side for the run into turn 4 quite quickly as well. He's very keen to maximize the entry to these corners. And you can see how close they are to Brissetti and Vestrala as well. One mistake from the drivers ahead and they'll be right in it. This is certainly not over by any stretch.
Yeah, certainly multiple battles happening here throughout the field indeed. I'm going to take a look quick through here. Michael Belair currently getting a bit of pressure here from Jack Minter, last season's GT3 bronze driver, bronze winner, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, problem for Joshua Travis. He had a spin through turn 5, and unfortunately he's fallen all the way down to 17th place, and it looks like Sean Phillips has had a problem as well. They are dropping like flies, Zippy. This is turning out to be quite a brutal race.
Yeah, certainly I'm thinking of Richard Swindells. He may not be fast, but he does indeed make it last, and that's probably the best strategy you can have here for that car. Certainly Jack Minter getting ever closer here to the back of Michael Belair. I'll take the no. Let's take a look to see exactly what happened to Joshua Travis.
Yeah, so Joshua Travis, yeah, that was coming out of turn 5 there. You'll see him make his way into the corner all right, but on the way out, you apply the power a little bit too hard, maybe catch a bump, and around you go. Traction control kicking in and not really helping to arrest the slide. Alex Zart, very lucky not to run into him there. Travis got out of the way just in time.
Yeah, it's only a scary scenario being. Let's find out exactly what happened to Sean Phillips as well.
Yeah, Phillips now back to 20th place. He was running all right in the Corvette. It was the recovering Joshua Travis that he ended up running into coming through turn 6. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely a few of these guys definitely coming together. But meanwhile, Bryce Crone has set the fastest lap of the race with 1:19.67. Certainly race pace, not quite the same as qualifying, and understandably so at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Race lap times are almost always a little slower than qualifying as Polte recovers from what appears to be an incident. But I think you especially see the difference between qualifying and race pace at a circuit like this, just because the walls are so close, the margin for error is so tight. You basically got to drive at 90% of your capability around here if you want to survive to the end. Ben Mellick then trying his best to make some improvements. Pacheco ahead of him, running a little bit wide. Is that Pacheco? Manders, my apologies. Getting my McLarens confused. But Ben Mellick right on the back of him coming into turn 1. Could be a move at turn 4 if he plays his cards right.
Well, he's definitely applying all sorts of pressure indeed. This guy has got no issues giving it the hustle. The old razzle-dazzle there going. I've got to wonder, is Manders going to be able to hold true? Certainly the McLaren is a beautiful car, but is it going to be enough to try and hold back that mighty AMG Mercedes? Indeed. You see these zebra print cars, you do happen to know these guys have generally got pace.
Yeah, the Real Street guys have been right on the pace pretty much all season, and it would appear with the problems for Alex Zart and Joshua Wilford, they may see one of their drivers take the overall title. At least that's what may be the case for Bryce Crone here, is a little tap of the brakes for Mellick. He thought about going for it in turn 8, but no chance of getting it done there. That's the reason why they have that passing rule at that corner in real life. You actually are not allowed to go side by side through that corner in the real world.
Certainly, it's definitely, it's an intimidating track when even the marshals say, you shall not pass, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, a little bit of Gandalf on one corner, but right now, I've got to say, fair play. Quinn Manders put in an absolutely fantastic defensive drive here as they go around the final corner. Ladies and gentlemen, certainly I have to wonder as well. Mellick's already pit. Quinn Manders hasn't. Is Mellick potentially losing time here behind Manders?
Yeah, there could be potential for that. We'll have to wait and see, though.
Ooh.
Still got the majority of our field yet to come into the pits. It just seems like Manders is a little bit slower through the first chicane than Mellick is, and Ben is checked up where he really gets the advantage. And so his efforts are coming to naught so far for this particular pass.
Yeah, it certainly looks like on pace alone, Mellick's definitely got a bit more pace. You can see the amount he's been able to catch up, but he's not been able to get by. On best lap time, there's about 2 seconds in the difference, but it doesn't matter. Banders putting on an absolutely phenomenal defensive drive here, and indeed, there's Andrew Garov working behind, albeit a lap down. Yeah,
Garov trying to preserve something from this race here. Spent a long time in pit lane, and he'll have further difficulties towards the end, I'm sure, if he needs to pit again. But at the very least, he should be seeing the checkered flag, as there's a potential move there for Mellick. He'll be trying his best to get up the inside. Amanda's here around the outside in the final couple of corners. Is the over-under going to work here? Not quite. The corner is just too tight to really get it done.
Indeed, certainly Mellick there. He's been a little bit more reserved, but I have a feeling he is going to have to send it if he wants to try and find his way past Randers and indeed try and get that pace here. Again, he's going to try and make the move on the outside. Going to be on the inside of the next corner. He may have indeed got it done as he goes side by side around the right-hander.
Yep, first to the apex and first out of the corner. Pass done for Ben Mellick and up into 15th place. Very nicely done. Now he's got some clear air to take advantage of. He could make up a bit of track position before he comes into the pit lane for Well, actually, no, he's already come into the pit lane. Whether or not he'll have to pit again, though, remains to be seen. We'll look a bit further back here, or a bit further forward, rather, to the battle for 7th. Michael Belair here, holding on to 7th place. Wilton Palermo, the one we're looking at, currently holding on to that 8th spot, with Jack Minter potentially going to make the pass here down the start, finish straight.
Yeah, it looks like Minter there looking to try and apply a bit of pressure, and indeed he's getting close. It's Porsche versus Porsche, and I've got to say the Banana Amateur car, indeed, of Will Palermo doing a fantastic job on the defense. Certainly, we are seeing here this is a track you can defend, but certainly getting past this done definitely appears to be a bit of a challenge here. There's not too many opportunities presenting themselves.
Palermo got a slowdown through the first chicane, and he's still trying to clear it. So we're going to be seeing such a run there from the Porsche of Minter. He'll make his way around just as Palermo clears the slowdown and scrubbing the tyres on the exit of turn 7 as well. Not going to be a great run down the straight for Wilton Palermo. That little exchange has gifted Michael Belair a couple of seconds worth of time, and he'll be trying his best to chase down Jay Williams in the BMW. Meanwhile, Alex Zart, former leader, off the safety car, spinning as soon as the race went green. That's very late on the brakes. Kevin Rosario saw him coming, fortunately.
Well, I gotta say, that was a. I'm starting to think if he was a sailor, because he had to have thrown the anchor out to get that Lamborghini slowed down.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like very confident on the brakes, but he will have to come into pit lane. Hasn't completed his scheduled stop yet, so Alex Zart will now get his service out of the way and crucially get the fast repair as well, so his car will be fresh on its way out of pit lane. Meanwhile, Maxwell Budd, the Porsche, in the center of frame as we ride on board with Pierce Fox for 4th.
Yeah, certainly these two drivers are probably one of the biggest rivals we've seen throughout this championship. It's very rare to see these guys not racing together, and indeed, I've got to admit, it's good to put fair camaraderie between them. Certainly Pierce Fox are usually able to get the upper hand, but I say that Maxwell Butt, though, he's had good form as well. Both of these drivers very capable, and you have to wonder if the Porsche is going to be able to get it done in the braking zone. Certainly, there's a lot of slower corners here at Adelaide. I would actually put money on the Porsche being quite strong here.
Yeah, I would too. Traction is incredibly important at Adelaide, and the Porsche is usually one of the best GT3 cars at getting out of the corners because of its configuration. Obviously, the engine is slung over the rear axle, so the majority of the car's weight is on the rear in a much higher proportion than in any other car. So those rear tyres are being driven into the tarmac every time you get on the power. Does tend to get a bit understeery as the fuel burns off because the fuel tank is in the front of the car. Just one of the many ways that Porsche just likes to do things a bit differently to everyone else.
Oh, don't get me wrong, it may be slightly different, but I still wouldn't say no if somebody wanted to give me one. Indeed, I did promise myself a box rest by the time I'm 30. I'm now 35, and a box rest isn't going to cut it. I think for being late, I need at least a 911.
Yeah, for sure. 911 turbo, maybe.
I'm not that rich.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Lottery ticket might be the ticket. Matt Jones. Matt Jones in 11th place. Currently looking at a potential top 10 if things go right for him. He has already come into the pits, but remember his stop was quite early.
I do see Joshua Travis has been issued a black flag as well.
So that would have been for the recovery that turned around the Corvette, I believe, of Sean Phillips. Yeah, that's right. Travis had that contact with Phillips earlier. So race controller reviewed that and deemed Travis at fault. So it's going to be a trip into pit lane for him. This is how it happened. He was making that recovery from a spin. Phillips in that Corvette there, trying to take advantage, but Joshua Travis, unfortunately, keeping it alongside. And I suppose he was justified in trying to stay alongside there, but he was recovering from a spin.
Yeah, certainly. You could almost question if it was an unsafe rejoin, as it looks like something's happened with Michael Pacheco as well. That McLaren appears to be worse for wear.
Yeah, Pacheco's been in the pits now for nearly 18 minutes. Whatever happened to him, it happened a long time ago. Yeah, okay, that gives us a clue. Side by side with the BMW on the way into the first chicane, but this is the issue with the turn 2 curb. It's coming off it that you really need to be careful. Bit of suspension oscillation, the car bottoming out, and from that point, Michael Pacheco had no control over the car.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate indeed. As looks like we've got one of the drivers there actually gaining a few positions. Pierce Fox burns down pit road, as indeed does Jay Williams as well. So I've got to wonder here, how's this going to work out for Maxwell Budd? Is he going to be able to get a little time here against Pierce Fox, or is indeed Pierce Fox going to be able to get the undercut and slingshot himself further ahead of Maxwell Budd?
Yeah, this is the question that will be answered in just a few minutes' time, I'm sure. The safety car certainly gave drivers an opportunity to extend their stint here in terms of time. They will be covering roughly the same distance, but as the timer was ticking throughout the race, they'll evidently be able to pit much later than we expected. Bryce Crone up front is managing this race really well. 6.8 seconds almost ahead of Chris Brissetti and under no pressure at the front. Ben Millick, who started in the top 3, has made his way back to 13th thus far. 5.8 second pit stop about 14 and a half laps ago. So I think the question still remains, those drivers who pitted early on, will they be able to get to the end?
Well, indeed, as I say that, Ben Millick has set the fastest lap, but speaking of drivers who pitted early, Matt Jones being one of them, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's currently up there, and if you ignore Kevin Rosario, because he did indeed start down pit lane, he's potentially the race leader right now.
Could be quite interesting indeed for Matt Jones. His pace, though, has not been quite what our front runners have been managing. Mid-119s for our leaders and also for Ben Millick. But Jones just setting his quickest lap of the race then. It's a 1 minute 20.5. He's about anywhere from 7/10 to a full second slower as Kenneth Narvaez almost gets into the back of Hans Brady.
Yeah, certainly Hans Brady, he's... despite the fact he's had an incident today, he is indeed up 1 position on the day. The Effect Vodka machine, the real street team, is indeed there. And indeed trying to apply a little bit of pressure in that forward, but it looks like Kevin Narvaez absolutely applying the pressure here as they make their way down the start finish towards turn 1.
Such an incredible first sequence of corners here at Adelaide. It's so incredibly difficult to get right, but when you do, it's one of the best feelings in the world. Alex Zart certainly felt that in qualifying, but maybe didn't feel it too much in the race here. Still stuck down in 15th position, and well, he does have the fastest lap of the race now, 119.1, but I think position gains are going to be few and far between here in the final stages.
Yeah, definitely, indeed. The pace is coming down. All of these drivers starting to get a little bit quicker here. Certainly the best lap time is indeed gone to Alex with that number 17 machine, indeed. But Tommy Polte looks like he's getting into a battle now, and he's going to try and hold back Kevin Rosario. Both of these drivers are up 12 positions on the day.
Very nicely done from Polte and Rosario. Polte certainly having a much better time than he did in the GT4 race earlier. View from the back through the first chicane, you see how much the curbs really monster these cars. They go airborne over the turn 2 apex. It's an excellent run out of the corner for Kevin Rosario. He translates it to the inside, but Polte, focusing on the exits, defends the position successfully. Got to be careful of the traction on the exit, though. That's going to leave the door open for Rosario again, and this time he's going to complete the move.
Yeah, I gotta say, for a second there, I thought Tommy was indeed going to get a little bit of a tank slapper, but very well held there. Great recovery, and indeed, Rosario makes his way by. Don't get me wrong, he's an aggressive driver, and I think that was a little bit more of working the man than working the track.
That's it. Adelaide's one of those tracks where I think it's... Oh, no! Amrit Vestrala's done a David Coulthard. That's not ideal. On the way into the pits, costing him valuable seconds, and it looks like he didn't get the pit speed limiter on in time. The pit speed limit here is so low, it's only 40 kilometers an hour. Vestrala braking way too late for pit entry, and in the confusion, didn't have time to put the pit limiter on, so he is unfortunately sped in pit lane. Has a black flag to his name from that, I'm sure.
That was definitely a unfortunate event there. It looks like Karen Rosario has now boarded down pit road as well. Let's see where Pierce Fox has emerged there. He's coming back there, and indeed, I'm keeping an eye on himself and Maxwell Bud. These two guys are pretty much inseparable. Bud yet to make a pit stop.
Interesting to see that Vestrala didn't get a black flag there. I'm certain that he sped on the way into pit lane. He must have gotten lucky on that front. But well, regardless, he's going to come out of the pits in 10th behind Pierce Fox, who pitted just 3 laps ago. Fox's tyres will certainly be up to temperature at the moment. Vestrala, of course, letting his tyres cool a little bit on the way into pit lane. Our race leader, Bryce Crone, makes his way into the pits meanwhile. And with the lead that he currently has, I don't see him really losing it. Brissetti and Budd are going to follow him in. I think this is about as far as anyone can get.
Yeah, certainly. I have to wonder, though, where's Pierce Fox going to emerge? Indeed, he was absolutely right in a good battle there with Maxwell Budd. Indeed, he's brought Amrit Vestrala with him as well. How's this going to work out on pit lane time? Pierce Fox, 8.9 seconds. We're keeping an eye here. What's Maxwell Budd going to do? He did it at 7.15, so indeed, in theory, he should be out there by a good margin. We're going to have to keep an eye, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, as Matt Jones is coming now. This is the guy who pitted earlier. Whoa, that was tight. I jumped.
And that, yeah, I did too. That is how pit exit at Adelaide do. You know, making your way out onto the racing line on the entry to the fast first chicane certainly required a lot of trust there between Jones and Budd. Looks like Fox is going to hold off Amrit Vestrala in the meantime, but Matt Jones going to be getting that track position there over Maxwell Budd. 14 positions gained for the 77, and he's looking really good at the moment. 5 laps to go. Still a little bit up in the air on whether Jones will have to pit again, because he did pit quite early, but yeah, I don't know. Potentially, he might be able to get it.
Yeah, well, not only that, Michael Belair and Jack Minter have yet to make a pit. As I say, that Belair brings it down pit lane. He could be on for 3rd position overall, which honestly, with 14 positions gained, is absolutely phenomenal. But I do have a feeling something may happen to Kevin Rosario on pit exit.
Rosario has quite a long run through pit lane, and looks like he'll join Amrit Vestrala in making the same mistake David Coulthard did at the 1995 Australian Grand Prix, going a little bit too deep into pit entry. It's so tight.
Indeed it is, as we see there that Michael Belair, after his pit stop, is going to tuck back behind this pack here, and Ben Mellick's there with him. Okay, we're going to have a battle here for the GTD class, and indeed Mellick is hot on the heels here of Belair. It's the 33 versus the 35.
Lovely battle of the Mercs emerging here. Ben Mellick has been doggedly making his way back up the field since his incident, and Belair now just out of pit lane, trying to get his tyres back up to temperature after they cooled down a bit in the pits. Looks like he'll nail the run out of turn 7, but the slipstream can kick in sometimes on the run down the back stretch here, especially considering that you're flat out in a GT3 through turn 8. It's really such a fast corner. But looks like not much of a gain from Ben, at least on the way in, but potentially in these slower parts of the circuit, he may have the edge over Michael.
Yeah, certainly with these guys both rocking the same car as well, it definitely is a challenging set of circumstances. To try and find a passing opportunity here it's difficult, but I've got to say, Alex Saab there has got even quicker. He's just made it into the 118 stage, gentlemen. There's a little bit of lap traffic there. I believe that is Sean O'Brien, ladies and gentlemen. No, it's different. It's Sean Phillips, ladies and gentlemen, getting out of the way there. And indeed, that looks like he's got Jay Phillips right behind as well. Jay Williams, sorry.
Indeed. That's a nice run on the way into the chicane there for the BMW. Keeping an eye on the lap times, very good time from Zard. It's only a 10th or so off his qualifying paces. Looks like Belair is going to see Mellick run a little bit deep a couple of times behind, and Belair with a slowdown from turn 1. It looks like Mellick may be too far back to take advantage, but we'll have to wait and see. The run onto the back stretch, it looks like Belair's going to have to pull over a little bit to clear the slowdown, and that will ultimately give it the position to Ben Mellick. Or will it? He's going to try and defend through turn 8, side by side through this corner. Barely ever works. That was tight. Goodness me.
Definitely a high-speed game of chicken. Indeed, the Colonel was ready at the season indeed start deep right it, as we would have had a bargain bucket should these two guys come together. Indeed, Michael Bella able to hold on the 33 versus 35. This is indeed the battle for the lead here for GTD.
Such an incredible fight indeed. Michael Belair is holding off Ben Mellick very nicely at the moment, and crucially, it's a clean battle as well. You know, we're not seeing too much elbowing and muscling past. There's respect given and room given as well between these two. But Mellick is going to have the pressure on him here. He needs to try and make the move now. And it looks like with a bad run out of the chicane there for Belair, he's going to take it around the outside into turn 4.
Yeah, definitely very, very, very tight racing here, as indeed. I remember Estrella has just picked up a slowdown as well. Belair's just picked up another one. He's already cleared it though, so I do have to wonder if Estrella keeps picking those up. He may indeed find himself being hunted down by Ben Mellick. It's about 2.3 seconds in the gap, but indeed, let's have a little bit of a look further back here as Alex Zar is trying to find his way back towards the top of this field.
Yeah, it's been a very long road to recovery for Alex Zart here, but he could grab 11th place before the end in the slipstream of Jack Minter turning in late for turn 8. It really widens up on the exit, and he's having a look. He's moving up the inside. Is Minter going to see him coming? He will. Goes wide. That was an optimistic move from Zart, but it worked out in the end.
I gotta say, that's the second time he's done that kind of move, and indeed, like the door's being left open for him, and indeed he's going for it as Mellick. He's had two backs in the pits. Oh,
yeah, well, he did
flag.
pit very early on. Oh no. Okay, you know what? I think maybe the incident limit potentially. It's you can get off tracks, especially at turn 2. So, honestly, I'm not sure, but that is disastrous for Ben Mellick. It's going to put him back out in 13th place, and he will lose the fight for the GTD victory. Now it's between Michael Belair and Jay Williams, who it seems has almost come out of nowhere. We were barely paying any attention to him a few moments ago. Now he's in it.
Yeah, fair play to Jay Williams indeed. It looks like he's getting that BMW up there and indeed onto second spot. Indeed, Wilton Palermo, the banana man himself. I gotta say, respect to this guy. He's still rocking it. Like, he must be absolutely sweating his well, it's fair to say that fruit is going to be quite ripe. Alex up behind him as well.
Yes, we can. I'm sure you'll be able to finish that sentence whichever way you like. Hello, Wilton. We'll see you make your way into the final hairpin here, but whether or not you have a Lamborghini alongside you remains to be seen. This is such a tight fight, and it looks like the final lap has begun for Bryce Crone. So this is going to be the white flag for this battle. Zart certainly wanting to throw Wilton Palermo off, but you can barely ever make a pass coming into turn 1 at this circuit. You've got to set up for turn 4.
Indeed.
Oh, that's Jay Williams.
Jay Williams.
What's happened to him? He's towed.
I wonder if he ran out of juice.
So that means that Belair...
He's
out of fuel. Yeah, that's a shame. I think Williams was one of the drivers who had to pit very early in the race as well. So I think we can confirm the majority of the drivers that pitted early on in the race could not make it to the end. Meanwhile, Alex Zart moving his way past Wilton Palermo, but not without a big defense from the Porsche.
It looks like we are just in time here for Bryce Crone to take an absolute belter of a win. Indeed, he had pace from the start. Certainly, I mean, he had the lead from the start. Alex up there having a little bit of an unfortunate event on the restart. Chris Passetti, though, 7 seconds back. It's a real street 1 and 2, ladies and gentlemen. Maxwell Butt there in third. Fantastic stuff. Matt Jones, I've got to say, without a doubt, the pit strategy of the day. A very well-deserved 4th place from him. 1,507 IR. Don't get me wrong, he's in GTD class, but without a doubt, you gained some massive respect from me for such an absolutely baller pit strategy.
Yeah, that was fantastic from Matt Jones, especially considering that we saw cars running out of fuel on the last lap. I thought for sure that Matt Jones was going to be one of them, but ultimately he saved enough fuel to be the hardest charger in this field. Very well deserved. Meanwhile, Kevin Rosario evidently with a problem in the final sector there. Oh, he ran deep and... looks like he lost quite a few positions out of that one. Fox and Bastrala got by him as well. No, actually, Rosario was a lap down. He was letting them by on the final lap, it seems.
Oh, okay. Well, that was definitely a colourful race, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, a good lot of fun as well. Certainly an interesting race by any means. I've got to say, I do feel there for Alex Zart. That was definitely not the restart he was looking for, but Matt Jones definitely, without a doubt, the best pit strategy we've seen. I've got to say, some fantastic moves as well. So definitely a hard venue to pass at, but some of the moves we've seen from so far back and making them stick and being clean was just absolutely incredible. I've got to be honest though, not quite as chaotic as I expected. Certainly Long Beach, I think, was the Hell's Kitchen of the series, but certainly I think a lot of these drivers will definitely not put Adelaide on the Princess Approved track list.
No, I don't think they will. It's certainly been a tough one for many drivers out there, but in the end, Bryce Crone is going to get a massive points haul from this round. He's going to win with his championship rivals falling by the wayside. Chris Bracetti grabbing second place. Excellent performance from him, as well as from Maxwell Budd, who rounds out our podium. Matt Jones, hardest charger, 15 positions gained to fourth. A brilliant job with Piers Fox and Amber Vestrala finishing behind him. Vestrala, incidentally, only car in the field, aside from Joshua Travis, to finish in the same position he started in, 6th place, with Michael Belair, Alex Zart, Wilton Palermo, and Jack Minter rounding out the top 10.
As we have a look here, P11 is going to be taken there by Sean O'Brien with Ben Malik in 12th. Despite that black flag, still able to get 4th in class fair play. Tommy Polty takes 13th with Hans Brady in 14th. Jay Williams in 15th with Quinn Manders in 16th. Kevin Rosario, definitely a little bit unfortunate for him. I did expect to see him gain a few more positions. He was there in 17th with Sean Phillips in 18th. Andrew Garrett took 19th and Joshua Travis rounding out your top 20.
Kenneth Narvaez, 5 laps down, joined by Pete Jeji, who for his first round in the series certainly had quite a few dramas. Hopefully he'll be able to shake those gremlins off if he's here for the last couple of rounds. Joshua Wilford retiring after receiving a penalty for a potentially poorly timed maneuver. Michael Pacheco also retiring from the race and barely making it a few laps in. A real shame for all those drivers at the back. There was a lot of potential for big points today. Will fall the way of Bryce Crone, though, who's going to join us in the commentary booth for the moment. Bryce, a fantastic performance today. It was all about survival here at Adelaide, 3rd street circuit of the season, and it looks like everything fell your way.
Absolutely. That was a tough race mentally, because I think driving by yourself in the open requires way more mental focus, because it's just easier to make a mistake, I think. But yeah, that was a crazy race.
Yeah, certainly was. And I mean, we see on the production feed how you got the lead in the first place with Alex Zart unfortunately spinning off the final corner on the run to the green. That resulted in an 8th place finish for him, and Joshua Wilford, your other championship rival, retiring. So late on in the season, this has been pretty much a perfect round for you, a massive points haul, which will bring you right into that title fight.
That's what I like to hear. Yeah, as soon as I saw Zart spin, I guess he caught some of the grass, but I knew I had that race in the bag as long as I put my head down and just nailed every corner.
Yeah, indeed. Well, nail every corner you did. So, I mean, obviously, taking the win here, I'm sure your opinion of the track will be coloured by your success, but what do you think of Adelaide? Would you like to see it on the schedule in future seasons?
Man, it's definitely, if not, probably the hardest track on the schedule, because a lot of the corners are off cambered and you have to be super, super careful in how you bring the throttle in. But yeah, I mean, we can see, anything goes in these type of races with street circuits.
Yes, it's not the last street circuit we'll be going to either. Miami Autodrome is going to be playing host to the next round next week. Congratulations on the win, Bryce. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again there.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to thank my sponsors, Real Street Performance and Effect Vodka. Have a good night, guys.
And you too, Bryce. Bryce Crone there, finishing on top. Meanwhile, his teammate at Real Street, Ben Millick, joining Zippy.
Well, certainly been an absolute belter of qualifying performance. Indeed, he did start in 3rd place overall. But fair play, he did end up getting a little bit of a black flag. Tell us a little bit about what happened there. Ben?
Earth to Ben.
I can tell you that his driver cam has indeed put out for a minute, so indeed Ben may have left the chat. Literally left the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, we'll give him a minute there. In the meantime, though, let's take a quick look here. I've got to say, absolutely phenomenal drive. Certainly, he had the pace there, but certainly that little bit of a black flag at the end, he's definitely caught him off guard.
Yeah, that it did. He does still finish. He finishes 3rd in the GTD class, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Meanwhile, it seems we are joined by Wilton Palermo.
Hey,
Well,
what's up?
Well, I've got to say, Wilton, certainly you must be absolutely, for lack of better words, sweating your hole off, sir. Without a doubt, the most enthusiastic and entertaining driver cam we've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bananarama himself, Mr. 91. How was it racing in a vegetable today?
Honestly, it was so hot. My shirt is drenched. Like, there was a point, I don't know if you guys looked at the webcams, it was like, it's so goddamn hot. But I mean, we did it just for fun. Andrew was supposed to join me, but he forgot because we were talking about it last week in the Discord.
Well, certainly you have indeed added a new challenge, which you've just volunteered yourself for. What outfit are going to see next week? Certainly we've had one league where we saw a guy who had different faces on his car every week. Now, ladies and gentlemen, looking forward to it live here on the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship. What outfit will Wilton Palermo be in? Certainly get your guesses here on the postcard. But certainly thank you for doing that. And indeed, it made for an entertaining race. And not only that, you had pace today as well. Some good battles as well.
Yeah, I've definitely been practicing a lot. I mean, I haven't only been sim racing for like 2 years. It feels good to finally, try to race in the front. So just trying to get better from here.
Well, fair play. Wilton, anybody you want to shout out before we let you go today?
Honestly, the GCS guys were actually teammates, even though Manuel Sandoval, he's part of my other team and he abandoned me, but shout out to him too, GCS guys. And TPRT, they're another team I race with, and I don't know if they're watching right now, but shout out to them too.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, certainly the most enthusiastic driver cam we've ever seen, and I'm looking forward to what else you guys pull out of the bag, because this is my kind of antics, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't have to be serious all the time. Indeed, sim racing can be silly, and I'm there for it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the driver number 91, the Porsche, for Wilton Palermo.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Attaboy.
Yes, indeed. Fantastic stuff from Wilton Palermo today. 2nd place in GTD. That is a solid performance there, and rocking the Subaru World Rally Championship livery on the Porsche. I think it suits it quite nicely. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see if Ben Millick has been able to sort out whatever presumed technical issues he has that have befallen him. Ben, do you have us? It would appear the answer is no. So, unfortunately, we may have to end it there, Zippy. I hope we get a chance to speak to Ben at Miami, which is going to play host to the next round of the championship, another circuit that is relatively new to iRacing.
Yeah, certainly a challenging circuit as well. Is that a street circuit as well? I mean...
It is.
Oh my gosh. So kind of, sort of. You know what? It's better than Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go out there and say, indeed, I hope the manhole covers are welded down for the next time they go there. Certainly, but I gotta admit, definitely an interesting race here at Adelaide. Certainly, Reese, this being one of your home tracks, how do you think it really went? What do you think would make for an even more interesting car combination at this particular venue?
Oh, look, honestly, I've seen a few categories race at Adelaide now. Formula Fords certainly go well around here. Super Formula Lights as well, producing some crazy action around this place. Open wheel is at Adelaide. I mean, it originally was an open wheel track, so they certainly work out nicely around here. Actually, now that you mention it, we've got the BIS IndyCar Championship coming up in the next few weeks here on Pit Road Productions, and Adelaide is going to be playing host to the final round of that. So I'll definitely be looking forward to seeing IndyCars go around here.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. And indeed, myself and the speeds of IndyCar, that's one thing for sure. You're not going to see me getting out the booth in that one. That's definitely going to be, too much car for me and indeed too much track. But ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed going to bring the show to a close. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon. And joining me in the production booth today, the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner, indeed the Southpaw Racer. Check him out on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, he just released another not-so-serious track guide. Did I say that right, Reese?
Super serious track guide.
There you go. I forgot the sarcasm. Indeed. You got to watch it, and trust me, you want to watch it. I'm not going to spoil it, but certainly, Reese, you know exactly which bit I found the most enjoyable. Yes, you need to watch it. It's not necessarily what you're expecting, but it will give you a giggle. So certainly, by all means, give Reese a sub as well. He deserves that, and indeed, he's got even more than I have. So why are we shouting him out? But definitely give him a sub for sure. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon. Reese Gardner, the Southpaw Racer himself, joining us in the production booth today, and we're going to see you in 1 week's time when the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship returns for Miami.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen,